chuvusa Yada Malach HaNeshama Agud Voch Rabbi Sai Agud Chodesh Elul Elul, everybody together. Elul. All right. Wow. To get back at that mashgiach in yeshiva, nachamal. Elul. All right, beautiful. Welcome to all the guests. If you're a guest, please raise your hand. Who's a guest here? What's your name again? You're the cats from? Lakewood. Givaldik. Listen, Yehuda, ask the guy next to you where he's from. I don't want him to talk out loud. Chas v'shalom. Baruch. Okay, yeah, we met already. Fine. So this gave me like those. When you meet somebody, all Stefanskys are related. So here's a table of the young Stefansky generation. Says incredible. Just got home from my granddaughter Hindi Stefansky's wedding. Took this clip of the tale. Young Stefansky shir. Motty Lizer. So here they are.
Great, go ahead.
So it gives, to me at least, it gives me a special warm feeling. When you meet. I've never seen these kids before in my life, but they're my mishpacha. They're from me. And then Shabbos, it hit me like one of the aliyahs. Was Chamishi Banim Atim Lashem. When everybody, we're all one mishpacha, be'etzem, we're all one mishpacha. So when you have that feeling, you have to know that feeling you have to use to every single yid. That's the trick of the Rashiv of Waterbury, Rabbi Kalish, the Bochum feel it, okay, fine.
Very good.
This is, somebody sent this in. Make America again in 8 minutes. Now, I just came back from Yerushalayim. I was at my daughter's house, Ramat Eshkol. Of course, I'm going to say the wrong name because that's how I am. As I get out of my car, I'm with my suitcase. A guy screams out of the window, and here it is. You ready? But put it loud because it's hard to hear. I thought it was cool. Also, I'll tell you real quickly. In Ramat Eshkol, this is what an original Yerushalmi building looks like. And then they did something called Tommy, what is it? Tama 38, whatever. And they took all these buildings and they added 2 floors and redid the exterior. The government gives them all these incentives, so you'll see both buildings. Fine, here it is. You ready? This is my welcome to Ramat Shlomo, Ramat Eshkol. Have you wanted to do this? We'll find out one day. I didn't know who it was, but it's Tully. I don't remember his last name. I'm very, very bad with names. With Tully, we bring together. This is what's his first name? Arbiter. Anybody know his name? Michal. His name is Michal. He does a lot of chesed. He owns this plane, and you can see it has a retractable gear. The wheels go in. You can tell from the front. And he uses a plane to take kids and sick people. He sits here a lot in Shir. He comes, but I guess he lives there as well. Here he is.
I just flew Chaim Eliyahu into Boston to see his doctor. He has a message for the island.
Good morning, Rabbi Zayde.
Good. Should have a Refuah Shlaima. This is our own Benny, learning on vacation. Benny, what did you tell me? I don't know if you're allowed to repeat this. What did you tell me about learning? Do you want me to say it? He said that the best part of his vacation was learning the daf before his family got up and started making meshuggah, sitting there by himself, learning. It's so true. Okay, that's what he told me. It wasn't lying. This was on the Lakewood Scoop. Somebody's learning the daf over the Grand Canyon. There's another status. There's MKY, Mikam Israel. They do great stuff. Like they show all this. Mikam Israel, here it is. Between the chuppah and the first dance, singer Shmaya Fisher plugs into the song of creation. Here he is learning the daf. I also heard that Daskell does the daf, and he was also on this. If anybody has that picture, send it to me. I'll show it also. Shlomi Daskell learning the daf by the in between. All right, Rabbi Sai. Today, this month's sponsor for the koilel is Mr. Anonymous from Lakewood. Zchus, zchus, all the new people that joined. The second sponsor of the koilel, $10,000 each, by Avi and Rachel Kamiansky. Rachel is Dr. Epstein's daughter. In memory of Rachel's mother, Reza Gittel Bas Esther. Rita should be Melitza Yosher on behalf of us and our children. This Masechta is sponsored Lili Nishmas, Yosef Baruch, Ben Moshe Aaron and Lili Nishmas, Moshe Lozer, Ben Nata Shalom, and for the hatzlacha, B'chol Yonim, for my children by Molandi. The second sponsor of the Masechta, Jefraz and zchus, my son, Yosef Simcha Chaim Ben Sara Klein, Refuah Shlaima, by Benjy Estie Israel Family, memory of our Zayde Moshe Menora and 3 cousins, Sara Klein, Ricki Racheli Menora on the 12th yard side, and the Neshamas should all have an aliyah. By Dr. Avrum Epstein, in memory of my precious Southern Belle, wife, mother, and grandmother, Rita Gay Epstein. Parents HaChodesh number 3, Michael Ben Mela, Motty Perl, and our one and only Aaron Hirsch is sitting right next to me with his son. What's your son's name again? Yamin. To be Zoicha, to make it to Uman Rosh this year. He tells me you have to go a week and a half before Rosh Hashanah. It used to be leaving your family for Rosh Hashanah. Now it's like a week and a half. And just soon it's going to be like a year. You leave your what? Month? A month plan. Month plan. Okay. I'm not going to say amen to that. I don't know. I'm sorry. Leaving mishpach like that, not. But you could do it, everyone. As long as we make a sponsorship on it, we're good. This fourth part sponsor of the Chodesh, Lidish Mazachario Ben Moshe. What happened?
People are going to stay here only for 1 week.
Yeah, they don't need to be here for a week and a half. Tell their wives they need to be for a week and a half.
Pinny Taub, Staten Island 81, Mazel Tov to my son-in-law, Shimmy Weiss, Staten Island 41, who joined Kesubos, and he should have a Mazel Tov because he had a baby girl. Hatzlacha and Parnasa, Yishuv Adas, and all brachas for Elul, and into the new year. Amen. Rabbi Sai, here we go. So we're holding like 6 lines from the bottom of the Nun Aleph Amud Beis. Only 70 days left to this amazing Masechtas Kesubos. 70 days left. Ton Rabbanon. Shvuyim Malchus, Hareyim Ki Shvuyim. If a woman is abducted by the king, so she's mutter to her husband like a regular captive. Genuve Listoyas, if she was kidnapped by a listim, by the robbers, Einam Ki Shvuyim. They are also, we have to be choishesh that perhaps she had some rotzen in there. Says the Gemara of Asanya Ibcha, but we learned the opposite. Says the Gemara, Malchus HaMachas Leikashi. Ha b'Malchus Achashverosh, ha b'Malchus Ben Netzer. There's a difference between a huge king like Achashverosh, that she understands she has practically zero chance of being the queen. She knows she's being used, she's going to be tossed away. So for that, she's not going to be beratzen. But if it's a smaller king like Ben Netzer, who the Gemara tells us he destroyed Narda, Shmuel had to run away and go to Pumbedisa. He was a small time king. So she thinks to herself, maybe I'll be queen. With that thought in the back of her mind, maybe there's a rotzen over there. Maybe she had some willingness, and that makes her also to her husband. Listius likash, and you're asking me about robbers. Haba Ben Netzer. Now the first question that jumps to mind is we just called Ben Netzer a king. And now we're calling him a listim. Okay? Says Gemara, there's a difference between different listim. Haba listim da alma. Now you have a big time robber like Ben Netzer. She'll be with him, she'll do beratzen. But a small guy on the road, there's no way in the world she'll want to be his wife. As the Gemara Ben Netzer, Hasan Karlei Melech, Karlei listim. What's going on here? Is he listim or a king? In Gabe Achashverosh, when you compare him to Achashverosh, listim, he's like a small time operator. Gabe listim to Alma, but you want to compare him to a highway robber, he's big time. He has massive. Is this your last day here? I didn't read your email. When's your last day? Another week. Okay, fine. We'll have to read it then. Remind me, maybe send it to me again so I don't forget. Okay. So Rabbi Rosner comes in, it's a big thing. Comes in every day. We take it for granted. He comes in every single day from Yerushalayim, drives in 2 buses to get here, and he has a new job. Should be matzliach, but we'll talk about it a different time because he still has a week with us. Okay. Now we have a little bit of a sugya here. for most of the Amud. So take a look over here for a second, because this is the lashon that we have in our Mishnah. The Mishnah tells us that if a Yisrael gets married, he writes in his Kesuba that if she's captured, I'll return you as a wife, because he's a Yisrael. Even if something happened to her, he's allowed to return her as a wife. Chaim, on the other hand, if his wife was abducted and she was nenas, he can't return her. So what does he write in the Kesuba? I will drive you, take you, put you in a taxi, I'll pay for your ride home. If I have to put you on a flight, I'll fly you back to your father's house. So very interesting. Is this literal? I'm going to drive you back. In other words, not so much the driving part, but is the Kesuba saying the same thing and it's just a different lashon for a kayan? What's the nafkamina? So we're going to see that Abaye takes it literally. That what? Says the Gemara. When a kayan gadol gets married be'isr, or a kayan hedya gets married be'isr to a grusha, same thing. Chayiv livdaisa. This is a very interesting shaila. What would you say? I'm sure you'd probably be mechulik on him. Why? What if a Yisrael gets married to Mamzeres? Gets married to Mamzeres. He can't say what a Yisrael writes in the Kesuba, V'yisvinach li into, is not applicable. So he was never mishabed himself. You can't obligate. Okay, Shkoch. Who said that? Obligate. Okay. You can't obligate yourself to something that's usher. So too, a Kohen Gadol getting married to an Almana, or a Kohen Hedya getting married to a Grush, he can't obligate himself. He can't say, I am going to, well, he certainly can't say, I can't return you as a wife. So what's going on here? Says Abayino, even though it's also for him to marry this woman, she's an Almana, nevertheless, Chayav Livdaisa. Now, what's interesting is that if he does marry this Almana, so too if Yisrael marries a Mamzeres, they write a Kesuba. There's a Kesuba, but it's awesome. You write a Kesuba, that's a sugi that we had already. You write a Kesuba, you don't get Mezainas, you don't get Refuah, you don't get, but you get the Kesuba, the 200 or 100, whatever it is. Says Abaya, Shani Kairaba, Ubikayanes, Hadrinach Lemedintach. Look what it says. I'm going to take these words literally. It says, I'm going to return you in a car to your father's house. Could he do that? Yes. He's a Kayan. He has a driver's license. He could drive his wife back. Could he do what Yisrael says by Svinach Lilintu? Absolutely not. He can't return her as a wife. But if you want to nitpick, so to speak, if you want to be literal, in the Kesuba it doesn't say anything about being a wife. It says, I'm going to drive you back to your father's house. I'm going to return you to your father's house. And he could do that. He'd accommodate her by taking her home. So then if that's the case, so he's mechuyev to redeem her. He's mechuyev to pay ransom, because it says, I am going to pay ransom and drive you home. Not drive, whatever. So he could be mekayim that. Let him be mekayim that. What does Rav argue? He says, no, it's not literal. I'll take you back. Yeah, of course, anybody could drive anybody home. But it's also, just like Yisrael cannot take his wife back, so a Kohen can't take her back. But it says it a different lashon. Don't take these words literally. If you could drive her home, if you could return her to the father, so you're mechuyev to redeem her. Not true. She's a usher wife. A usher wife is no different than a mamzeres. Just like if somebody marries a mamzeres, he doesn't have to redeem her. So if a Kohen marries an almana, he doesn't have to redeem her. What's the difference? So what if he could fulfill those words? That's the machlokes here. Very interesting machlokes. He must redeem her. Why? Since he could fulfill those two words, I will return you to your country, you have to redeem her. Mamzeres, unasin Yisrael. However, anybody marrying a mamzeres, which the Torah tells us, it's the right to marry her. But if you do, there's a ksuba. You don't have to redeem her. Why? Because I can't fulfill the words that it says in a Kesuba v'Yisrael, and after I redeem you, I'm going to return you to my house and you're going to be my wife. She's not allowed to be your wife. She's a mamzeres. So since I can't fulfill those words, everybody agrees, Rava, Abai, everybody agrees that a mamzeres, you don't have to redeem. Machlokes is by a kohen gadol and an almana, a grusha to kohen. Rav Omar, no. If it's because of her captivity and that she became also then you're mechoyev. In other words, if he's a regular kohen and Nebuch, his wife, got captured and they violated her, so it's because of the captivity, so then he has to redeem her. But if he was over at Isser when he got married to her, because she's an almana to kohen gadol, it's the same exact halachas as Rava as a mamzeres. What is the difference as Rava? If you marry a mamzeres and you don't have to redeem her, or if a kohen marries a grusha, you should also not have to redeem her. Says Gemara Leman Ketanoi. Did a quick chart here, not that it's again. So the chart is like this. According to everybody, if a Yisrael marries a mamzeres, you don't have to redeem her because he was never mishavet himself. He didn't obligate himself to such a thing. There's no such ksuba. Almana l'kohen gadol, we have a machlokes Abaya and Rava. According to Abaya, you have to redeem. According to Rava, you don't have to redeem. She's like a mamzeres. So now we're going to have another machlokes. This is also a very interesting case. It's mamish kishmak sugis. A guy gets married legally, he has a normal wife, he's Yisrael, whatever he is. Kohen marries a woman, mutter. But then all of a sudden, he makes a neder against her. He says, I'll never benefit from you. So the isser for him to be with her occurred in the middle of their marriage, not before they get married. So is that similar to this case or not? Says the Gemara, we have similar machlokes. That what? First, he said, I'm never going to have anything to do with you. He got mad at her, he made a shvuah, he made a neder. And then she got captured. Mamish, this lucky day, he was so happy. This woman that he hates, and he made a shvuah against her, a neder against her, she was captive. Keep her, he tells them. But I don't want her. Rebbe says, no, he's mechuyev to give her a ksuba and redeem her. So of course he has to give her a ksuba. He doesn't have to redeem her. Why? Because he was already osset to her. And if he's osset to her, he cannot fulfill. We'll see in a second. Says the Gemara. Now, depends. Kishe diro lebasayf nishbis. Oh, sorry. Omer ibn Asim. Shalti is zchus. I asked a question in this case. When Rabbi Yeshua said, give her a ksuba, you don't have to redeem her. What is the case? Did he say, I have nothing to do with you, and then she became captive? Or she became captive, and the guy, maybe, we'll see in a second, maybe he made a neder, he's never going to have anything to do with her, because he didn't want to pay the ransom. It's heavy money. You know how much people paid for ransom now? I just looked it up. Al-Qaeda, they got $1 million per Canadian, and they got, I think, $7 million for a French guy, and $17 million from, I forgot what country it was, for one person. So anyways, the minimum was $1 million. So the guy says, look, why should I pay $1 million to redeem my wife, whatever it is, $100,000? I'm mudar from you. I have nothing to do with you. Now, I have nothing to do with you. I can't fulfill my obligation of taking you back to my house. So I'm done. Says Gemara, V'amar li, so Simcha says, very pashut, Lo shamati, I never heard from a Rabbeim the halacha. However, if you want to use logic, v'nirim dvarim shedira lebasayf nishbis. What's going on here is that first he made the neder, then she became captive. Why? The armors nishbis l'sayf adira. If it happened in the reverse, the first she became captive, and then in order to get out of the ransom, he made a neder. Hasid laharume. Everybody who doesn't want to redeem his wife is just going to make a neder, and they say, "Oh, you're potter. Oh, you can't take her back because he made a neder, so you don't have to." Okay, says the Gemara. My love b'mader eishes kohen kamifligi. Now, The one who says that you mechuyev to redeemer, what is he thinking? Says Rashi. Obviously, it's not a Yisrael, because if it's a Yisrael, you can't take her back to your house. So nobody could hold that he's mechuyev to redeemer. So it must be a Kohen. And a Kohen, you don't have to take her back to your house. All you have to do is hire a taxi and send her home. That you could do with a Kohen. You could, and that's Gufa, maybe the machlokes that we just had between Abaye and Rava. Is it literal? Put her in a taxi, you could do that, and maybe you have to redeem her? Or no, it's not literal. Since, just if you flip this case, it's not a Kohen, it's a Yisrael. That case would be also for the Yisrael to redeem her, or to take her back home, and Mele's potter from redeeming. So use that same case and say by a Kohen also. Just because he's able to put her in a taxi doesn't make him chayiv to redeem her. Says the other man, the Amar. My lab, you see, Abaya in this chart will say, you have to redeem her, and you give her Kesubos, redeem her. And Rava holds, you don't have to redeem her. No, that's not the machlokes ben Buddha. No. What happened is, what happened was, we're talking about even a woman married to Yisrael, and she made the neder, not the husband. She made the neder. But if she's married, the husband has to say, I'm okay with the neder. So another geshmaka, lamda shashayla. When a woman who's married makes a neder, and her husband hears the neder, he says, okay, great, you don't want to have anything to do with me? Masking, great. Now, whose fault is it? Who started? Two kids fighting. She made the neder. Is it her? Or is it him who said, I'm okay with the neder? Whose fault is it? Machlokes. He took her finger and put it in her mouth. So he's the one doing it. Because if he would have said, no, I'm not makabel your neder, there wouldn't be any problem here. But because he said, I'm okay with the neder, then everything's on him. He took her finger, made her bite her own finger. Shua Savar, he nosna etzba ben chinel. I don't know, I thought, whatever. I saw a guy, a cartoonist. I didn't want to put a woman, this, fine. It's no shaykhs to anything. He took his finger and bit his own finger because it's all on him. He's responsible here. When it comes to the darim between him, his wife, he's the one that's responsible. So if he gave her a shus, then it's his neder. His neder, he should redeem. Shalom Yisrael. It's his problem, let her redeem her. If she makes a neder and it's her problem, then she doesn't have to redeem her. Says Gemara, if it's all her fault, then why did she get a ksuba? Now, going back to this question that we had a second ago. This question that we just had. What happened? When did he make a neder against her? After she was captive or before? And he said, I don't know. And he said, what did he say? He said, it must be l'chayra it must be that he made the neder beforehand, because if he made the neder afterwards, every husband in the world that doesn't want to redeem his wife will make a neder afterwards. Ha'arama. But that's only when he makes the neder. But when she makes a neder, there's no ha'arama when she makes a neder. What does she want to do? She doesn't want her husband to redeem her. She's going to make a neder afterwards. It doesn't make sense. There's no before and after by a woman. The before and after is only by a man. Once he hears that his wife is captured and he doesn't want to redeem her for $1 million, he says, I'm done with you. He makes a neder against her. But if you're telling me the pshat in the Gemara is that she made the neder, so what is Simchus talking about? Then Simchus doesn't make any sense. So obviously it can't be the answer in the Gemara. Okay, let's go back. Says the Gemara, he made the neder. And again, once again, it's a geshmak sugya, but just in case he starts spacing out, in 5 lines, new sugya, starting something else. That what? A Rav is going to argue on this. But he says everybody holds, and when it comes to Alman al-Kohen Gadol, everybody holds, you have to redeem her. Why? Because it can be Mekayim, what it says in the Ksuba, and that is, I will return you to your father's house. You could do that, even though he's a Kohen Gadol and she's an Alman. Mamzer is in Israel, When it comes to someone that married a mamzer, we said you don't have to redeem her. Why? He's never mishavet himself. It never was chal, so no redemption. Now, Madrash is kohen. He tells his wife, the kohen, tells his wife, "I'll have nothing to do with you." Nami kol amalei pligi the chayv doisa. Happened. Why? Dahainu amal kohen gadol. Because he could still be mekayim the ksuba. I'll return you to your father's house, even though he's mother and love from her. Ki pligi b'madrash is Yisrael. The whole machlokes is in Yisrael, because over there he cannot complete the ksuba, which says, "I will return you as a wife." He can never return as a wife. Why? Because he's mother and love from her. He said he'll never have anything to do with her. So Rabbi Elazar also basal mikara, Rabbi Yeshua also basal basayv. Beautiful machlokes. Do we go? The beginning of the marriage, they were together. When they wrote the ksuba, he could return her as a wife. So Memela, he's obligated to always redeem her, even though later on in life he made a neder that he's not going to have anything to do with her. Or no, we go at the time of when he has to redeem her, and at the time that when he has to redeem her, it's too late. He can never bring her as a wife. So Memela, he doesn't have to redeem her then. Or no, we go by the day of the chasana. The day of the chasana, he could bring her as a wife. So even though 20 years later she got captured, and at that point he cannot bring her back as a wife, it's too late. When he wrote the ksuba, it was okay. Rav Matars the Dameh, and Rav argues, Aman and Kohen Gadol, he puts Aman and Kohen Gadol in the same category as a mamzeres. Just like a mamzeres is also like married to Almana can not marry Kohen Gadol, and therefore when it's in Israel, and he's not mishavet himself for that. He's Kohen u'benesh Yisrael, and the machlokes is it doesn't matter if it's the wife of a Kohen or wife of Yisrael. Rabbi Elazar is also basal mikara, Rabbi Yeshua is also basal basayv, the same as far as we said before. Nishbes chayav levdaisa. New sugi Rabbi Isai, wake up. Nishbes chayav levdaisa. Torabon. Nishbes chayav bala. If she was captured when her husband was alive, v'achkach meis bala, before he had a chance to redeem her, the husband died. Also gishmak shayla. Is he chayav or not? At the time of redemption, he wasn't alive. At the time that she got captured, he was alive. At that point, when she got captured, he was chayav to redeem her. Hikr babalo. I have a problem with this. I didn't see anybody talking about it. If anybody has a shot in it, let me know. These words, hikr babalo. If her husband knew about the fact that she was captured, I just want to know, what does that have to do with him knowing about it? Doesn't have to do with the time that she got captured. Who cares about his yediyah? It's not like a chatas or something. Okay, maybe that's what it means. I don't know. Hikr ba baila. When the husband what? Why? It's a fact. The fact is, it says in Kesubos, if she gets captured, you have to redeem her. Who cares about you knowing about it? What do you call it? You have a chiyuv to feed your wife, mizaynos. You have to know that she's hungry. If she's hungry, you have to feed her. Nah, you don't have to know. I don't know. Okay, fine. What? Why does it start then? I'm asking. Why does it start when he knows about it? Who cares when he knows? Who cares about him when he knows? Why does it become a chiyuv when he knows about it? I want to know. That's all I want to know. Why? It's a fact. You're chayiv. If I break your window, when am I chayiv? When you find out I broke your window, or when I broke the window? No, you don't know. You don't know. You're in a different country. I'm not chayiv for the window because you don't know about it. You have a chiyuv. When the chiyuv is chal. What do you mean when? You need to know about something for the chiyuv to be chal. I don't know. Never heard of such a thing. I hope that's not the pshat. There must be a better pshat. Okay. It's a klutz kasha. I know it's a klutz kasha because nobody talks about it. I looked everywhere and I couldn't find anything. What? I know, and I want to know why. So Levi said, let's do it just like we just learned, that you're chayiv if she was captured when the husband was alive and then the husband died, the Yorshim have to redeem her. Yoshim Chaim Levdoisa, Loikir Babailo, and Yoshim Chaim Levdoisa. Levi Savalim Evedu Vikav the Masnisa. Omalei Rav, what? Loikir Babailo, and Yoshim Chaim Levdoisa. Look, let's see what Rav says. Omalei Rav, Hochi Omer Chavivi. This is what my uncle, Ricki Chavivi, that's what he used to call him, my beloved. In Hebrew, they say Chabibi. Is it a nice thing to call Reb Chia Chabibi? I'm not joking. There's a nidin about it. Okay? There's a... What? There was chashiv. No, there's once a kid in Cheder, the Rebbe gave him a smack, talking about petch. Smack. I'll say, I need before, nobody even asked me, nobody wrote any emails, I don't know why. The guys were not bothered to write any hate mails, but I just want to say, even though that school in Missouri said that they want to hit the kids and every parent signs up, I would not personally sign up. I don't want somebody else touching my kid. I'm just saying, I need and I don't know that I'm pro. I just said we have to open up our minds a little bit, expand. Maybe if every single psychologist says it and every single Rav says it, maybe they're all wrong. I don't know. Okay, fine. Zog Gemara. What?
You want to be the only one who smacks the kid, right?
No, I want to be right. I don't know what the right thing is. If these guys saw something in it, they said maybe, huh? Especially the troublemakers are not excited, but okay, that's how it is. The parents want good kids. It's not excited. What, they're excited to hit their kid. Everybody wants kids that are nice, well-behaved kids. They do the right thing, and sometimes I don't know, whatever. Fine. So the Gemara. Anyway, so this Rebbe and Chay smacked the kid. The kid comes home. My Rebbe beat me up. Why? So I said the Rebbe's Meshugana. I said no. He says I call him Meshugana. He says, of course you don't say Meshugana to the Rebbe. He says the Rebbe is a Meshugana. You have to know how to say it. Okay, fine. So over here he said Chabibi. Okay, not Chabibi. We don't pass him like that. Oh, so you see over here, the Chayr is going on the first part. We said that the Yisayim are chayiv to be poider. If he knew about it, you don't have to be poider. Even though she was captured when her husband was alive, and then her husband died before he had a chance to redeem her. Very interesting. Because of this lashon that we learned in the Kesubos, it says after I redeem you, you're going to be my wife. But he's dead already. She can't be his wife anymore. So Mela, you potter. Tanur Rabban. Nishbis v'hayu mevakshim imenu ad asar b'domeh. It's interesting, lashon. Up until 10 times her value. She's worth $1 million. They asked for $10 million. Pamri shoyna paida. He's mechuyev too. He's mechuyev to redeem her. Mikam ve'elach ratza paida ratza ena paida. So remember this for a second, just for Amud Beis, as we flip the page. It says over here that you have to redeem your wife 10 times the amount that she's worth even. Mikam ve'elach. But if she was captured for a second time, they saw it was ganz fine. They made a lot of money on her, $10 million. Now they come to capture her again. We're talking about if you want to redeem her, yes. You don't want to let her be there, keep her. Same thing maybe. Elo, Yitzhahara. If you fall once, okay, new. But to fall for the same Aveira, you already know, you already have experience that you're going to fall. Second time already, I don't know, Akish Baruch Ratza, ain't a Ratza, that kind of thing. Daf Beis, Amud Beis. Ein poidin es ashvuyin yoyser al kedei demeim mipnei tikun ha'olam. Major line here. It says you don't redeem the shvuyim more than their value because of tikun ha'olam. You have to be concerned about other people. So there's a lot of stuff going on here. First of all, Taisus on Amud Aleph, the middle Taisus over here, V'hayu Mevakshim, says that Tikkun Ha'olam doesn't apply to oneself. If a guy's a multimillionaire and they're asking for $10, $15 million and he has the money, he's allowed to redeem himself. You don't have the Tikkun Ha'olam on that, and his wife is included in that. That's why we learned that 10 times her value is okay. Because Ishta Kigufay. But a daughter is not Kigufay, and it's very hard to hear and understand. But if a person he's Bill Gates, and his daughter is captured, and they're asking for $10 million, which is equal to $1 for us, he's not allowed to, because he has to be concerned about the other people. First thing that came to my mind was, in this neighborhood, and a lot of neighborhoods, you have these cleaning ladies, and they ask for 40 shekel. But some people, they really they're desperate for cleaning ladies. They don't have. They have a shortage. So what do? They give them 60 shekel, and it ruins it for everybody. It's the same kind of idea of tikkun oil. You have to be concerned that I know you want one, but by you raising the price, you're ruining it for everybody. But more to get to this, what about Shalit? What was his name? Gilad Shalit. So Rabbi Yosef Paskin, you're not allowed to give back 1,000 terrorists for one Jew. That's what he said. And at the end, what happened, everybody knows that they came out and they killed people, the whole stuff. But that's the idea. The Maram in Rothenburg told people not to give the ransom that they asked for him, and he ended up dying in jail after 10 years. So this is a big line. It's hard to America. That's their policy. We don't negotiate with terrorism, with terrorists. They don't officially not. This, okay, but because of Tikkun Olam, because of this idea, you don't know what the next thing is going to be. Fine. Yeah, okay, exactly. Anyways, we just turned to Amud Beis, sponsored by Moshe Horn. This is the last day?
The last day. And you should know, every single sponsor he did was for other people. Not a single time he said for his couple. It's for other people's couples.
Every single time he sponsors for other people that were doing the daf. So we'll say this B'Kavana by Moshe Horn in honor of Zach, the Rocklin, and Lenny Lerner, CPA. Second sponsor is the zchus being able to support Limud Torah and to finish learning Shas with Rebelli, Shkoyach, Moshe Horn. Moshe Horn.
He said to me, other people should follow his lead because he encouraged people to keep with it up. He really did.
It encouraged other people. Okay, yeah. I also think that everybody should sponsor the turning of the daf. Is zchus other people that are learning, 100%. And that's not a soft sale, that's a hard sale.
I know for you.
Zog the Gemara. But their value, they're worth $100,000, you pay them. Even though that $100,000 is more than 200 zuz that he wrote in the Ksuba, but we have a question. It says that if they ask 10 times the Ksuba, how much is 10 times 200? 4,000. I'm just, okay. Panovich. Says the Gemara, so, says the Gemara, what's Rashi just explains here, what's Reb Shimon Gamliel saying? That you only have to redeem her for as much as her ksuba is worth. Why? Because the ksuba is 200. In the ksuba it says that you have to redeem her. But that's tafel, says Rashi. That's secondary to the actual ksuba. This is the main part. Ksuba, if I divorce my wife, I have to give her 200. And that also includes mazoinas, this, that, and redeeming. So it can't be, says Rashi, that the redemption costs more than the actual ksuba. It's a tafel to the ksuba. Okay. So the Gemara, Reb Shimon Gamliel, Reb Shimon Gamliel says not more than the ksuba. Over here he's saying more. Says Gemara, no, there's two things going on here. You give her the less of the two. Either whatever is less, the ksuba or whatever she's worth. There are two things going on here. You give shavias and you give ksuba, but only the less of whatever it is. If the ksuba is 200 and she's worth 500, you only give her 200. If she's worth 50 and the ksuba is 200, you give her 50. You always give her the least amount. Says the Gemara, if it said in the Mishnah that if she got sick, you have to pay for her medical. You have to pay for the widow, the almana, she lost her husband. She gets mezainas, and also medical, you have to pay for her insurance. I think that's what they're passing today. You have to pay for insurance policy. You have to pay for the Blue Cross, whatever it is. $5,000-$10,000 a year in America. How much? More? I'll hook you up after shir. No. Okay. It's more than $10,000 a person?
For families to be.
Oh, not a family. She's an almana. She's a widow. How much do you have to pay for her? Okay. whatever, May, PPO, IPO, this Zachen, there's this show, $52 for the whole year, whatever it is. Okay. Hooray, Kim Zoinus. Hooray, Kim Zoinus. My wife asked me, should I get this one? I said, well, what's the difference? Get, I don't know, all of them. You get 6. All of them is like 1 day in America. Who cares? Okay, let me show you. Hooray, Kim Zoinus. But you get, exactly. Last month, not a joke. You want an MRI, you wait 2 months. Hillel, need an MRI? Am I exaggerating when they told you come at 3 o'clock in the morning 3 months later? You could come in 3 months, but 3 o'clock in the morning. America, that day, hour later, anywhere you want. Down the block, right?
Yeah, within a day or two.
Okay, you get what you pay for. Bekitzer.
Amazing there, right?
I got 2 months ago, the doctor said I should get this thing that reads my heartbeat. You have to wear it a whole day. A month and a half, you have to wait for it. I said, my heartbeat. What was my heart? You wait a month and a half. You'll live till then. So then I got it, and then they said it takes another 3 weeks for somebody to read it. This is with all the best of the best. Okay, fine. I'm not joking. We never read it. Who cares? It doesn't. Turn on bottom. They forgot the battery. Come back in 6 months. I'm not.
If you lived there, you just get the test.
I'll tell you another. My serious story. What was I going for? Oh yeah, he said I need a ultrasound. So I had to wait a month and a half. I go to the ultrasound. I get there. She goes, you have to pay your Taurus. You have to pay like 200 shekel before. So I said, I'll pay now. No. You have to do it through with this. You just missed your appointment. So okay, so make me another appointment. A month and a half. I'm now waiting for my next appointment. But you didn't tell me I have to pay before. Oh, I thought, the Taurus has to pay before. Okay. 200, the copay, a little bit of a copay. Come back in a month and a half. Beloy Guzma, come back in a month and a half because you just missed your appointment. Almana, yeah, we said this or not? Because Refuah, says the Gemara, Hareikim Mizonis, like Rashi mentioned earlier, it's the same thing as Mizonis, same category. Medical and food is in the same category. We're talking about if it's medical, you go one time for ultrasound, and it costs 200. Okay, so I know how much it is. Nisrapis, Kesubos, Shein Lakitzva, Hareikim Mizonis. If it has a kitzvah, you know exactly it's 200, you take it out of the ksuba. But if it's something that it's like for the rest of her life, she needs medicine and she needs all this, whatever it is, machines for the rest of her life, that's mezainis, because mezainis also, you don't know, there's no end to it. But there's a trick. Guess what the trick is? If somebody needs medical attention and there's no end, we don't know how much it is. It can be millions. What's the trick? So the Gemara tells us a good trick. We'll get to that in a second. Bloodletting, in those days they were very busy with their bloodletting all day long. It's very good for your health. So that's part of medical attention, and you have to pay for it. But you never know how many you need. How long is she going to live? It could be a year, it could be 500 years. So you have to pay, not from the ksuba. Says Gemara, Abba. They were supporting the wife of their father, not their mother. Their father died and left a wife. Now they had to support her and give her medical attention. Now they're sick and tired of her. Go get a job. So they come to their relative Rabbi Yochanan. He says, I have a great idea. Go to a doctor and say, okay, she's, let's say, on dialysis. You need it all the time. You don't know how long she's going to live. Go to the doctor and say, how much do you want for this woman? Unlimited dialysis for the rest of her life. $2 million, $3, what do you want? I don't care, any amount you want. You tell me the number, I will pay. So he throws out a number, $2.5 million. Anybody would do it. Doesn't matter. Oh, now it's Dava Shesh L'Kitzvah. Dava Shesh L'Kitzvah comes out of Yiksuba. Now it's on you. It's a great trick. Oh. They don't care how much it is, because whatever it is coming right out of her account, not out of their account. It's a great trick to mess up this almana. What do we just do? I don't remember this word. I didn't even look it up. I should have looked it up. Karcha Dayanim is in Hebrew, Orech Din is a lawyer. I was just your lawyer. I just taught you to say something and to do something that's going to mess somebody else up. And it's awesome. It's in the first parak of Pirkei Avos. You're not allowed to make yourself a Orech Din. If you look in the side over here, in the Tais Sarid, he says, a Lashon, Pirush she'enam ksherim. A lawyer is not a kosher person. Shemelamdim tanois lebaldin. They teach people to say bad things, wrong things. There's a lemashal. They were asking people, how much is 2 plus 2? So the yeshiva bacher says, "L'may nafkamina." That was his answer. Yeah, they asked the lawyer, how much is 2 plus 2? He says, how much do you want me to make it? Whenever a lawyer, his job is to maneuver things. So that's awesome. Okay. I have a lot of lawyer jokes here, but the time is late.
They give you your outcome.
What?
They provide the outcome you like.
They try. But that's a little bit of a isser. I think I told you this, Maisa. I'll tell you again, because for the new guys, when I learned in Passaic, so I went through the Port Authority, and a guy robbed me. You remember this, Maisa? How long ago did I say it?
It was Pesach, I think.
Yes.
Was this year before Pesach?
I remember it was going around.
Yeah.
Tell the story, then we'll remember.
I'll tell the story real quick. Anyways, a guy robbed me. I had a big fight with him, and I threw him down the escalator and this, but he was on drugs, and he didn't feel a thing, and he took my money and he ran. So I needed to get revenge. I went every single day to Port Authority until I found him. It took me like a month. I found the guy. Had him arrested. They arrested the whole thing. And then they're going to this, it was like a jury. I never heard about it, never saw it before or after, but anyways, like 23 people. They listened to the story and they paskin halacha on him. I don't know why and where, but that's how it was. And they paid me like $5.50 or something for the train and for a sandwich. In those days, you could go for $1 to the train. There's 2 ways, so it's $2 plus $3.50 for a sandwich. I have the receipt. Fine. But the representative, the attorney, what is the general attorney? What's the name? District attorney. She takes me in the room. She goes, "Why were you there? Were you doing drugs?" I says, "No, I don't know what drugs are." Okay. She says, "Listen, what was the story? You threw him down the escalator. You can't say that. Do not say you threw him down the escalator. Okay. And then you punch him in the face. I promise. Don't say you punch him in the face. But you could say that he punched you in the face. Okay, I'll say that." She told me exactly what to say and what not to say, and that's how it was. I got there. I took out everything she told me not to say, and I said, "Meisef shtickle guzmas and zachen." It was gewaldig. Okay. The outcome, they put him in jail, and then one day I got a phone call in Passaic, and the guy says, "Hi, so-and-so is still in jail. Do you want your $70 back?" Like, yeah. Okay, good. And that was it. That's the last time I heard from them, from the court, from the whole thing. Anyway, Zog the Yamar. What? If he watched the share, I don't think he would be able to understand the word. Okay. Mikara, he's not alive anymore. What's going on there? Rabbi Yochanan gives him advice. Then he says, "What? I'm a lawyer. It's awesome for me." Says the Gemara, Mikara Savar Msochalik Salam. They're my relatives. I have to give them good advice, even though it messes her up, but she's not my relative. In other words, it was mutter for what he did. Msochalik Salam, give him good advice. The problem is that he's Rabbi Yochanan, he's the Gadol Hador. So other people are going to learn from that and take it to a place where it's not true. So you have to be careful who you're saying it to and how you're saying it. Says the Mishnah. The official Mishnah is sponsored by Moshe Cohen, hatzlacha, Udim Torah, and Parnasa. So we're very familiar with this. The male children you have from me, they will inherit the ksuba, the money from the ksuba. So this is called ksuba's banim dichrin. I just hope everybody remembers it for the rest of their life. All 15,000 of you, ksubas banim dichrin. So ksuba, in the ksuba, it talks about the male sons, the banim dichrin, the zcharim, that if, in case he gets remarried to another woman and they have children from the other woman, the boys from the other woman don't inherit what the first woman brought into the marriage. We're going to see why. It makes a lot of sense to us. Why should they? But the Gemara explains it. So if he didn't write this in there, chayiv, it's an obligation. You don't have to write it. Shutnai bezdin. And the same thing for everything else in the ksuba. But in nukvin, if you have daughters, they have in l'chiminoi, you have in Yosef bevesi, daughters you have from me, they'll sit in our house, and they'll be inspired from my nechasim ad tiklakvan the govern until some man will marry them. Chayav, even if you don't put it in the ksuba, shuhut nai bezdin. Ate Yosef bevesi, you the almana will sit in my house, and you'll have mezaitis kol yimei megar al munasech. Rashi says the word megar is meshech. It's the whole duration, the whole duration of your widowness, bevesi, chayiv, whatever the word is, widowness. It's from Panovich. Shuhud nai bezdin. That's nai bezdin. So it happens to be an almana gets mezainas until she demands her ksuba. She doesn't demand her ksuba. There's no mezainas, or until she gets married. Says the Mishnah, that was their lashon. Now, they imitated the people of Yerushalayim and they wrote the same thing. But the people of Yehuda wrote it differently. They have the right to kick you out by giving you a ksuba, based on what the Yehuda people wrote, they could give her a ksuba and no more mezainas. Says the Gemara, Rabbi Yochanan says it in the name of Rashbi. What's this idea that the sons first get everything in their mother's ksuba, including the 200, so that a person should go ahead and give his daughter nechasim, so people should marry them. Says the Gemara, so here's the pasuk: if a person doesn't have a son, then only then does a daughter get Yerusha. In other words, a daughter doesn't get Yerusha, typically, if there's a boy. So the Gemara is asking why, and it's an interesting shaila, why would you encourage a father to give his estate to his daughter when the Torah tells you that it should go to the son later on? Okay, but he's taking away from what the boys deserve. It's like, I'm sure people say that, like they look at the father, like, why are you buying a Lamborghini? You're taking away from my Yerusha. What's wrong with you, Dad? You know what I'm saying? That's what's going on there. He's not dead yet. He has the right to do whatever he wants. What are you giving her money? What are you buying her apartment for? Are you crazy? That's my Yerusha. Don't touch my Yerusha. That's what the Gemara says here. It's not Yerusha. We're not even talking about Yerusha. He's alive. He's giving you it as a gift. No. Gemara has a problem with it. The Rabbanan made a takana for a good shidduch. It's wrong. Says the Gemara, it is right. Because Hanami the Raisu. That's also positive. You should take wives to have children. Ubanos, boys and girls. Take girls for your sons. Take boys for your daughters. Says the Gemara, interesting. In the time of the Gemara, as we learned in the Kedushin, it's the derech of a man to go out and find a wife. No shatchanim. He goes out there, he looks around, and he chaps a wife. So a father could go out and look around for a good shidduch for his son. So that makes sense that he's going and it says, get women for your sons. Fine. But how is he going to find the chassan for his daughter? That's not the derech. You don't look around for a boy. In nowadays, it is the derech, I guess. No, what you should not, don't look around in the street for a chassan. Give her the jewelry, give her the clothing that she should be more desirable for shidduchim. And then they'll jump on her and they'll marry her. Now it didn't work well. How much you add to her nedunya, to her package that people should want to marry? 10% of the person's assets he should up to 10%. He should give to his daughter. Says the Gemara, okay. So you just explained to me why we have this barim dichrin in the Kesubos. That what? We are concerned, we want the father to be able to give his daughter nechasim. And if he thinks for a second that some other yukal, some kid that was born to that guy's other wife is going to take all his nechasim, he'll never give his daughter anything. He doesn't want his nursing homes to go to some guy he doesn't know. He wants to go to his daughter and to her kids. So says the Gemara, very good. So anything the shver gave to the daughter, it should go to her sons only. The balei leiros. But what about the 200 in the Kesubos? The main part of the Kesubos. Maybe that which is coming from the husband, it's not coming from the father, that the other sons should inherit. Says the Gemara, Imkein av nami mimna v'loi kosav. The father of the wife, he's going to say like this: I'm going to give a nursing home and whatever. I'm going to give my daughter a lot of stuff. But whatever her husband gives, that could go to somebody else. It's not fair. So you know what? I'm not going to give my daughter anything. You hear the psychology? It happens a lot. You could understand it. It makes zero sense, but that's how people are. You want to give your kid something. You want to give a matana to your kid. I'm not going to give my kid anything. You know why? Because the husband is not giving. It's whatever he gives, I'm going to give 50-50. I'll give if you give. Well, zchus. He doesn't want to give. He's a bad guy. So that's why your daughter should suffer completely. He shouldn't get anything. That's what it says here. What?
Because he doesn't have any benefit. She gets married.
I hear. No. So you're saying that the whole benefit of the nechasim is only for the husband? She gets zero out of it? I hear. I thought it's more of a psychological thing. No, she gets, these are nedunya. She comes in with a package. He gets the pay rise, I guess. He's saying, I hear. So I don't want to give anything to, if you're not going to give, but then why do I care if he gives or doesn't give? She's not going to get from it. But okay, at the end of the day, if she gets divorced, she gets it. It is for her. All right. It's in the head. A lot of this stuff is in the head. People act interesting for interesting reasons. Says the Gemara, let's see what the situation is. If the father of the Kala gives stuff, so then the husband also should go, and whatever the husband gives should go to the sons as well. But if there's no package coming in from the wife's side, so we don't care about what the husband gave. So it's more like plug. We don't start looking at every ksuba, what happened and who gave. Says Gemara, Bas bein abanim. If this woman had a son that's banim dichrin, what if she had a daughter? All she had is a daughter, and there's boys from the other marriage. Nami terus, the daughter should inherit in this case also for the same svara. The father wouldn't give his daughter any nechasim if he knows it's going to go to the other boys. Let the daughter, his own granddaughter, inherit it. Says Gemara, no. We made it like inheritance and she doesn't get it. Bas bein habanois. But what if the other wife only has daughters and his daughter has a daughter? So now in this case, she should inherit. That's already part of Yerusha, Teirus. Okay, now we're not going to make chiluki in this type of marriage. They had daughters, they didn't have daughters. It doesn't matter who has what, the daughter doesn't get anything. Fine. Why did we say, we mentioned this a few times, that Kesubos barim dichrin is only from mishubadim, from karka, from real estate, not from movable objects. Why not? They said the barim dichrin should be the same thing like a regular ksuva, which is only from real estate. Titroif mimishabdi. So let her go if he sold it. Let her go take it out, or let the boys go and take it. Says not. It's like Yerusha. So if a father sells something before he dies, the kids don't have a right to it. They can't say, "Oh, it was supposed to be our Yerusha." Too bad, he sold it. So too over here. Dinar. So this is the final halacha we're learning today. In addition to the two ksubas, right? There's two wives here. The shver gave money to his daughter. He wants his grandsons to inherit it. And there's another ksuba. And there's sons to the other wife. So each family, the boys take this ksuba, the boys from this wife take this ksuba, but there has to be remaining one dinar in the husband's estate, in addition to the two ksubas. Why? Says the Gemara, Rabbanan don't have the right, or they didn't want to just do away with the whole Yerusha completely and say these, because really midiraisa the son should inherit the wife's, the other wife's ksuba, because it goes through the father to them. Yeah, I should have a charter. Here, it's two wives. This wife has kids, and this wife has kids, so they're over here. Yosef, where are you going? You need this. Okay, you'll see later. But anyways, I don't know what he's doing. Very good, very good. You have two wives. And they have a little kid. This one has a little kid. So Baram Dichrin says that this little guy inherits his mother's ksuba, and whoever this is a boy. We need another boy. This one inherits this one's ksuba. But midaraisa, you inherit both women. This little guy can inherit both. Okay, that's all I want to say. Right, so this guy inherits both women. But we decided that this person's father is not going to give her anything if this person's kids inherit the nursing homes. Okay. But in addition, we need a dinner. One dinner, so that, because what we're doing is, I'm saying that he gets to inherit her, and he gets to inherit her, that's against the halacha and the Torah. They're doing away with the whole Yerusha. So we're saying, no, we're not going to do away with the Yerusha. We're going to take one dinner, one coin, and split it evenly. If there's three boys in this family, they get 3 parts. One boy in this family, they get 1 part. And then with that will be Mekayim, the mitzvah will be Yoitzazayin, the mitzvah of Yerusha, and the rest of Yerusha will cheat a little bit and will give each woman to her, the Yerusha of the woman to their kids. And that's it. Have a wonderful day, a wonderful night, a wonderful week. A good Chodesh.